The first woman who is mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus in Matthew chapter 1 is a woman named Tamar. And Tamar's story is found in Genesis chapter 38, a little interlude in the whole Joseph narrative that fills the end of the book of Genesis. So in this story, Tamar is a woman, and she marries a son of Judah, and that son ends up dying, and then following the legal custom, according to the of levirate marriage, so it was the duty of her brother-in-law to raise up children for his deceased brother and to perpetuate his name and his inheritance. And so that happens, and then the second son dies. So Judah, the father, he's looking at this situation. He's lost two of his sons married to this woman, and he figures basically, she's bad luck. I mean, I don't want any more of my sons marrying her. And so, he's like, yeah, when my younger son gets older, he puts her off. And here the PG-13 part of the story is Judah puts Tamar off. Judah's wife ends up dying. Later on, he's going up with his buddy Hira the Adullamite for the sheep shearing, and he sees on the side of the road this woman who, based on how she was dressed, he thought was a prostitute. So he goes over, Judah does, to make a deal, and in agreement to engaging with her in an intimate act, she asks to give his signet and cord and the staff that is in your hand. She wants to be able to have some insurance for later on. So Judah lies with Tamar, not knowing it's his daughter-in-law, and she ends up getting pregnant. When word gets back to Judah that she's pregnant, they're like, well, the punishment for that is, stone her to death. And she ends up sharing, well, the father of my child is the owner of this staff, this signet, and this cord. And of course, that's Judah. And that brings us to our verse of the day in verse 26 of Genesis 38, where then Judah acknowledged them and said, she is more in the right than I, since I did not give her to my son Shelah, and he did not lie with her again. Good thing. So part of what we see here is, first of all, that God will sometimes act in ways that we would never plan or imagine to make sure that his promise to Abraham would continue. It's another caution also when people say, well, I think we need to get back to biblical family values. Most of the time, I'm wondering if people have read some of these stories, because I don't think most of our family values would include this sort of behavior taking place. And we're going to hear something similar tomorrow in the story of Rahab. Stay tuned.